In Boulder, Colorado, the air is thick with anticipation and controversy. Coach Deion Sanders, once the savior of a downtrodden Colorado Buffaloes football program, now finds himself at the center of a brewing media storm. What was once a story of resurgence and hope has transformed into a tale of media manipulation, secrecy, and growing skepticism surrounding his son, quarterback Shedeur Sanders. Coach Prime didn't just rebuild the Buffaloes, he rebranded them. After inheriting a team that finished a dismal 1-11 in 2022, Deion's arrival sparked a revolution. He quickly injected swagger, accountability, and discipline into the program, leading Colorado to a respectable 4-8 in 2020 and an impressive 9-point campaign last season. The Prime effect was real. Celebrities, national media, and top recruits all flocked to Boulder. But with Shedeur now off to the NFL and no longer the centerpiece of Deion's operation, the narrative is shifting, and not in the direction Coach Prime would like. From revival to restriction, the media locks up the glow that once surrounded Sanders has been dimmed by increasing concerns over media suppression. According to several analysts, there's an unspoken fear among national media figures when it comes to criticizing Deion, or even his son. The result? A startling lack of transparency around Shedeur's NFL journey. Draft analyst Lance Zierlein didn't hold back during a recent appearance on the Maggie and Perloff show, where he called out this unusual silence. The media is scared of Deion, at least the national folks on TV. They're terrified of the backlash from him and his fans online, Zierlein said. It's a bold accusation, but one that appears to be gaining traction. According to Zierlein and others, Shedeur Sanders' NFL draft process was marred by inconsistencies. Everything from questions about his decision-making under pressure to his reportedly inflated sense of draft value. And yet, despite these glaring issues, there was little to no national criticism. Deion's towering presence and his fiercely loyal online fan base may have built a force field around Shedeur that many journalists simply didn't want to challenge. Shedeur's slide, mistake or masterstroke. At one point, Shedeur Sanders was projected to be a surefire first-round selection, even flirting with top 10 status in some early mock drafts. But as draft day unfolded, his name was repeatedly passed over. Round after round came and went until the Cleveland Browns finally selected him on day 3, in the 5th round. To the casual fan, it was a stunning fall from grace. But to those paying attention, it may have been part of a longer game. There's an argument to be made that falling to Cleveland was a blessing in disguise. First, it kept Shedeur's name in the headlines throughout the draft, a story that overshadowed many of the top picks. The media frenzy around his free fall elevated his visibility, even as his draft stock plummeted. Second, and more importantly, he escaped the crucible that swallows many young quarterbacks. Had Shedeur been taken in the first round, he'd be walking into a team expecting him to start immediately, with media scrutiny breathing down his neck. But in Cleveland, he enters as a developmental piece, behind a QB room in flux. With Deshaun Watson's situation still uncertain, the door's wide open for Shedeur to quietly earn his opportunity. This quiet entry might have been part of Deion's broader strategy. Whether deliberate or not, the media silence surrounding Shedeur's flaws ensured that they were never the centerpiece of discussion. That may have bought him the time and space needed to adapt to the pro level without the crushing pressure of a first-round franchise quarterback. Deion's gamble, the spotlight now, turns back to Boulder now. Deion Sanders begins a new chapter at Colorado, his first season without either of his sons on the field. Shedeur, his prized quarterback and emotional anchor, is gone. Shiloh, his hard-hitting defensive back son, is also in the league. That leaves Coach Prime alone at the helm, carrying the burden of expectation in a program he personally rebuilt. And it's in this moment that his media maneuvering may begin to unravel. Without his sons to protect or promote, Deion will have to answer tougher questions. Can he sustain success without the on-field presence of his children? Will new Buffaloes rise to fill the void? And most crucially, will the media begin to push back now that the shield of family loyalty is gone? The verdict? Legend or mirage? There's no doubt Deion Sanders is one of the most impactful figures in modern college football. He's brought attention, money, and recruits to a program that was irrelevant just a few years ago. But with that spotlight comes scrutiny. And if accusations of media manipulation continue to mount, it could tarnish the legend he's built.